Welcome to daily discussion on current affairs. The first topic is balancing development and sustainability. This is topic in paper 3 of GS, balancing development and sustainability. India has low per capita carbon emission compared to the global average of 3.6.3 tons. It is less than 2.5 tons in India, the world's fifth largest economy currently. India is poised to become the third largest by 2030, with its energy demand projected to grow by 1.5 times faster than the global average over the next 3 decades. Okay, as a country become economically better off, okay. So, what are the issue with global climate pledge and strategy? Criticism of the economic survey, it criticizes global climate pledges for helping uh, criticize global climate pledges for being too small in scale, often given as loans rather than grants, and prioritizing profit over environmental improvement. Recent discussion at the CP29 also revealed reluctance among developed countries to commit to bridging binding contribution because binding environmental. Okay, what are the issue with global climate pledge? Optimal strategy, climate adaptation, adjust to climate change impacts. With climate mitigation aim to reduce its causes, however, there is not enough focus on whether this strategy are truly optimal. Sustainability oversight and emission comparison. Climate advocates often ignore simple sustainable practices such as plant-based diets, efficient farming, reduced consumption, and assessing energy-intensive technology. While the developed world evaluates progress for capita in various areas, it does not consistently use this method to compare the emission. Carbon reduction of carbon emission is a big target by everyone. Developing country, but developing country has a bit more carbon emission means possibility. That is why. They are country like China and India are more in the focus of the global community as far as their carbon emission is concerned, because upon them the in future they are going to be the. Sustainable oversight and emission comparison. A climate advocate often ignores simple sustainable practices such as plant-based diets, efficient farming, reduced consumption, and assessing energy-intensive technology. While the developed world evaluates progress per capita in various areas, it does not consistently use this method to compare the emission, because more you consume, more you emit. What should be the way forward? Embracing natural living practices. There is a need to adopt a lifestyle aligned with nature rather than solely prioritizing industrial methods. Many Indians already practice sustainability by using cloth for cleaning, choosing leaf plates instead of plastics, employing water-based toilets, cleaning system, and reusing household items. Embracing sustainable living practices, it is important to adopt sustainable strategies such as plant-based eating, efficient farming, reduce consumption, minimize the use of disposable products like toilet paper, and critically evaluating energy-intensive technology. Sustainability and mission life. India should not adopt unsustainable energy-intensive practice like developed nations. Sustainability stems from an additional value that emphasizes the impact of small action. Mission Life, initiated by India at COP26, highlights individual responsibility in the global climate agenda. Excess consumption and waste. There is a need to dig deeper and investigate the root of excessive consumption and the habit of wasteful discarding usable items. The less you consume, more will you be saving the environment, and it will be better. Okay. Okay, so according to the multidimensional impact on heat stress, according to ILO, International Labour Organization study in 2019, heat stress is expected to decrease total global working hours by 2.2% and reduce global GDP by 2,400 billion by 2030. And 2023 witnessed the severe heatwave conditions around the world, including India. Agriculture and construction workers are predicted to be the most affected, accounting for 60% and 19% of the working hour lost due to heat stress in 2030 respectively. Two major areas, one is agriculture, another is construction. These two areas will be severely affected by the severe heat wave conditions. The Asia Pacific region, including India, are set to experience significant GDP losses due to heat stress, with a projected 2.3% decrease by 2030. India's annual temperature rising steadily by 2030. An estimated 160 to 200 million people may face deadly heat waves every year. For the multidimensional impact of heat waves, physiological effects, the body needs to maintain a core temperature around 37 degrees centigrade for normal physiological functions. A temperature above 30 degree can impair cognitive and physical abilities. Health risk. Main effects of heat exposure include heat stroke, heat cramps, cardiovascular disease, acute kidney injury, and physical injuries. Women working in heat exposed sector are at risk of pregnancy related complications. Productive impact. Excessive heat make it difficult to work, reducing productivity. Workers may need to operate at a slower pace. Or a study in West Bengal show 1 degree centigrade temperature increase leads to 2% productivity decrease for female brick making workers, because West Bengal has a number of brick kilns, and 1 degree increase in temperature affect 2% that in the 2% productivity in the brick kiln for the women workers there. Sustainable development heat stress is expected to hinder the achievement of various sustainable development goals. Gender disparities, heat stress can worsen gender inequalities in the workforce, especially impacting women engaged in sustainable subsistence agriculture. Food security, reduced working hours for small scale and subsistence farmers could harm household food security. What should be the way forward? Preparation of action plan, prevention and management of heat waves. These guidelines assist officials in creating heat wave action plans for urban and rural areas, emphasizing public education, hydration, work schedule management, and access to medical facilities. International Labour Conference recommendations, urgent measures are needed to ensure worker safety and health, focusing on both mental and physical well-being in safe working environment. Stakeholder collaboration, government, employee and workers must implement protective measures for vulnerable individuals. This includes developing infrastructure and improving early warning system for extreme weather events. If they are getting early warning on this, so they will be able to protect themselves to some extent. Okay, so International Labour Conference recommendations, urgent measures are needed to ensure worker safety and health, focusing on both mental and physical well-being in safe working environment. Stakeholder collaboration, government, employers and worker must implement protective measures for vulnerable individuals. This includes developing infrastructure and improving early warning system for extreme weather events. Occupational safety and health, there is a need to improve the implementation of international labor standards and ensure sustainable working conditions for those affected by the heat stress. Uh, what are the multidimensional impacts of heat waves? Physiological effects. The body needs to maintain a core temperature of around 30 degrees centigrade for normal physiological function. Temperature of 30 degree can impair cognitive and physical abilities. Risk health, main effect of health risk, main effect of heat exposure include heat stroke, heat cramps, cardiovascular disease, acute kidney injury. Productive impact, excessive heat makes it difficult to work, reducing productivity. Worker may need to operate at slower pace. And extra study in West Bengal show 1 degree centigrade temperature increase leads to 2 degree centigrade 2% productivity decrease. Then sustainable development, heat stress is expected to hinder the achievement of various sustainable development goals set by the United Nations. Gender disparity, heat stress can worsen gender inequality in the workplace, especially impacting women engaged in subsistence agricultural activity, because in women are the major workforce in the agriculture and heat wave will definitely affect them more. Food security, reduced working hours for small scale and subsistence farmers could harm household food security because they will earn more, because they will produce more, they will earn more and they will consume more, so they will affect their food security. Then what should be the way forward? Prepare action plan, the prevention and management of heat waves, These guidelines assist officials in creating heatwave action plan for urban and rural areas, emphasizing public education, hydration, work schedule management, and access to medical facilities. International Labour Conference recommendations urgent measures are needed to ensure worker safety and health, focusing on both mental and physical well-being in safe working environments. Stakeholder collaboration, government, employers, and workers must implement protective measures for vulnerable individuals. This includes developing infrastructure and improving early warning system for extreme weather events. Occupational safety and health, there is a need to improve the implementation of international labor standards and ensure suitable working conditions for those affected by the heat stress. Workplace measures, adjust working hours. So like the government of Odisha, which has fixed a limit that working or start the work in the morning, adjust work hours, ensure regular breaks, provide access to drinking water, and offer training on recognizing and managing the heat stress. Regulatory and legislative action, there is a need to implement measures for heat sensitive occupations and enforce construction standards to protect the indoor workers. Green jobs, promote green employment as a solution to climate change, focusing on jobs that protect the environment while boosting economic and social well-being. More of plantation and tilted activity are the green jobs which will be able to provide the workers. Hello. हाँ हाँ समझिए सीसी की प्लॉट का अपन ठीक ना अच्छा सीसी को जीवन उठे ना पूछ के पूछ लोकेशन कौन गाड़ी के प्लॉट दूँगा गाड़ी के प्लॉट हम उनका लोन जीवन अभी तीन आठ बार के जेड को तो हम पूछ उसको पढ़ने को तो नहीं अरे कुछ दिन तो गए थे कि ऐसी कुछ दिन सामने पड़े संध्या को ना डॉक्टर ने तुम ऐसी ना ना जी को तो मैनेज कर करेगी तो कुछ से प्लॉट लेगी हाँ ना जो भी तुम लोग तो पड़ेगा जी हाँ पेपर से दूर जाएगा जी और सिटी को पड़ेगा सिटी में से प्लॉट का सेट नो प्लॉट आउट से प्लॉट का सिटी का कोई पड़ेगा तो तार सिटी को सिटी में ना वो अच्छी को धर नहीं वो अच्छी अब एक्चुअली जब सिटी को लोग कोई यूज नहीं होता हाँ सिटी को आपको अच्छी को धर नहीं ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं करना मत करते हो क्या हो जाए ये भी को हमें सारी है वो अच्छी दिन खरा करेंगे अब अच्छा नहीं तो हम दिमाग में कोई ना फोन करके कोई देखो है ना हाँ हाँ So regulatory and legislative action, there is a need to implement measures for heat sensitive occupation and enforce construction standard to protect indoor workers. Green job promote green employment as a solution to climate change, focusing on jobs that protect the environment while boosting economic and social well-being. So then next is the India's employment crisis. This article criticizes official job creation claims made by the government and duly supported by the RBI. It also proposed a new approach to tackle the country's persistent employment crisis, because in India, okay. So what are the issue with official job creation claims made by the government? Government claims, the government cited RBI report that claim 80 million new jobs were created in 3-4 years. This claims contradicts visible evidence of unemployment across the country. Government claim is that report 80 million jobs are created in the last 3 to 4 years. For example, 5 million youth are applying for 60,000 jobs vacancy in Uttar Pradesh. 34 million people seeking minimum wage work under the rural employment program scheme coordinated in the 2019 to 2023 despite a 5% GDP growth, contrasting with 20 million jobs created during the 11% growth period. These findings challenge established economic theory on growth and jobs. RBI was used by the government to put some false claim. Okay, so what is the performance of government previous past job creation efforts? Make in India initiative aim to boost manufacturing and create job. Outcome, manufacturing fell from 17% GDP in 2014 to 14% in 2023. This is stark reality. So claim was that initiative was launched, but there is a manufacturing started falling. Corporate cuts intended to stimulate private sector investment and job creation. Outcome, private investment as a share of GDP remained flat. This has led to loss of corporate tax revenue and increased taxation on the middle class and the poor in the GST and the income tax. Production linked incentive scheme designed to increase production and indirectly create job. Issue, there is no reliable measure of job created under the PLI scheme. Modern manufacturing often increase production sustainability without increasing employment. For example, Foxconn doubling production from 2010 to 2020 without hiring more workers. That means so they use more automation than hiring workers. So right now at the present situation, so it is more on automation than hiring the labor force. What is an employment linked incentive scheme? Objective, it incentivizes corporation based on the number of new job created rather than the quantity of the production. Implement strategy, utilize Aadhaar based payroll and bank account system to prevent fraud and standardize incentive amount for employee irrespective of their wages and the skills. Advance of ALI, this sector antagonize approach avoids problems associated with the favoring specific industry or the chronicity. This is what the situation is. Okay, so it can adapt to the quickly changing work landscape influenced by rise in AI and the gig economy. Countries like USA, UK, Germany, Australia, and others have implemented various forms of employment incentive program for cooperation. This shows that it is not an untested idea. Potential challenges: employee might misuse employment incentive by hiring current employee to qualify for incentives. This could undermine the program goal of creating new jobs. There is concern about the ELI's impact on India's overall productivity, shifting focus from encouraging labor to production. Here ahead, the government should move away from indirect trickle down economy and instead implement direct policy to create new jobs. The next is about the addressing the myth about the gig based works. The Karnataka government's proposal for legislation to enhance gig workers' welfare is a commendable and necessary initiative. This law aims to debunk misconceptions promoted by the gig and the platform industry, like the Swiggy, Zomato, Ola, Uber, etc. The myth of independence. They promote the idea that gig workers are partners and captains without boss. However, they are subjected to algorithmic control. Algorithms that dictate work hours, tax allocation, and performance metrics. Workers struggle to understand and comply with the algorithm demands. Digital agreement, terms and conditions imposed by the platform negate the concept of independent contracting. Every aspect of work is monitored and controlled by the platform. So myth and flexibility, they highlight flexibility of gig work to justify the lack of labor law protection. However, there is employer-centric flexibility. Studies show that flexibility mainly benefits the employer, not the worker. Payment structures and incentive scheme effectively eliminate worker flexibility. Mandatory requirements, workers must comply with login hours to qualify for incentives. Inactive periods results in disadvantage rates card and incentive schemes. Full-time reality versus the part-time perception. They propagate the notion that gig worker is primarily part-time or supplementary income. However, gig worker have income dependency. Study by the PIGHM and the University of the Pennsylvania found that 96% of cab drivers earn their entire daily income from the gigs, while 90.7% of delivery workers depend solely on gig work for their income. So it is a full-time employment, not a part-time one. Working hour, taxi drivers average over 11 hours of work daily. Delivery workers average 10 hours per day. So then how it can be a part-time work when it is more than a full-time work of 8 hours? So how has Karnataka bill tried to address these misconceptions? Lower the algorithms. The bill acknowledges how algorithms control workers and aims to empower them by reducing algorithm influence, allowing for more autonomy in their work lives. Mandates transparency in algorithm parameters used for work allocation, denial, work categorization, and personal data use. Flexibility. The legislation introduces fair contract requirements, ensure income security for the workers, and grants them the right to refuse work without facing penalties. Social protection. The legislation mandates social security provisions for gig workers and creates a framework for scheme covering old age, death, and health related events. What are the issues with the protection of the gig workers in India? Central government approach. The Code on Social Security makes only a passing reference to gig workers. It has delinked workers from minimum labor protection like wages and occupational safety. Karnataka government approach, it does not address critical issues such as minimum wages, occupational safety, working hours, and collective bargaining rights. So then the brown dwarfs, researchers have used the James Webb Space Telescope of USA to conduct a detailed examination of the atmospheric conditions on a pair of brown dwarfs. Brown dwarfs are celestial bodies that are larger than a planet but smaller than a star. They have a size range between that of a giant planet like Jupiter and a small star. Brown dwarfs accumulate materials in a manner similar to stars, not like the planets. Brown dwarfs can have clouds made of precipitate in their atmosphere. Unlike Earth water clouds, the cloud on a brown dwarf are much hotter and likely comprised of hot silicate particles. Brown dwarfs retain lighter elements such as hydrogen and helium more effectively than planets, and they have a relatively low metal content. Brown dwarfs do not have enough mass for their cores to burn nuclear fuel and radiate starlight, which is why they are sometimes referred to as the failed stars. About James Webb Space Telescope, the James Webb Space Telescope was launched in 2021. It is a joint endeavor by the USA, Europe, and Canadian space agencies. It is a large infrared telescope with approximately 6.5 meter primary mirror. Unlike the Hubble Space Telescope, it does not orbit the Earth. Instead, it orbits the Sun 5 million kilometers away from the Earth at the second Lagrange point. The telescope is designed to see farther across the cosmos and further back in time when the previous astronomical tools. One of its key objectives is to find the very first star that ignited the nascent universe. Then the Upper Karnali Hydroelectric Power Project, Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency (IREDA) Limited is investing approximately okay approximately 290 crores in the that Upper Karnali Hydroelectric Power Project. The Upper Karnali Hydroelectric Power Project is a 900 megawatt runoff river hydropower project being developed on the Karnal River in Nepal. It is supply power to Nepal, India and Bangladesh for a contracted period of 25 years. The government of Nepal awarded the project to JMR Upper Karnali Hydropower Limited, a subsidiary of the JMR Group India, under the Memorandum of Understanding signed in 2008. The JMR is developing the project on a build, own, operate, transfer basis. As part of the MOU with the JMR, the Nepal government received 27% free equity of the project. The project is estimated to generate 3,460 million units of electricity annually, while offsetting approximately 2 million tons of greenhouse gas emission each year. Key features of the project include a concrete gravity dam, head raised tunnels, a fish pass, feeder tunnel, surge pressure shaft, and the silt flossing tunnel. About the IREDA, IREDA is a mini Ratna company category 1 Government of India enterprise under the administrative control of the Minister of New and Renewable Energy. It was established in 1987 as a non-banking financial institution. IREDA is engaged in promoting, developing and providing financial assistance for projects related to new and renewable source of energy and energy efficiency conservation. The agency motto is energy forever. About the the Karnali River is a perennial transboundary river originating in the Himalayan mountains on the Nepal side of the Tibet border near the sacred Mount Kailash. It is the longest and largest river in Nepal, stretching 315 miles. Over 90% of the river basin lies within Nepal. The Karnali River cuts through the Himalayas in Nepal and joins the Sarda River at the Brahma Ghat in India. Together they form the Ghagra River, a major left bank tributary of the Ganga. Okay, the national next topic is the National Mission for Cultural Mapping. The Government of India under the Ministry of Culture has initiated the National Mission on Cultural Mapping, the NMCM. The National Mission for Cultural Mapping was launched in 2017. Initiated by the Indian Ministry of Culture. The mission aims to develop a comprehensive database of art forms, artists and other cultural resources across India. The government has identified and documented distinctive features of over 1 lakh villages across the country. Villages are broadly divided into 7 to 8 categories based on mythological, ecological and hydrological and developmental and scholastic importance. In 2017, the Culture Ministry approved a budget of 4,469 crore for the mission intended to use over a period of 3 years. Detailed field survey were conducted by joint team from the Culture Ministry and the Common Service Center, which operates under the Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology. Then coming to the economic survey highlight, the recently released economic survey projects India real GDP growth to be between 6.5% to 7% in 2024-25. Key highlights: the Indian economy is expected to grow by 6.5% to 7% this year, with prospects of achieving 7% growth in the coming years. The economy has already largely recovered from the pre-COVID growth trends without sustaining permanent damage. The economy survey emphasized the need to address inequality and unemployment as top policy priority. It encouraged the central and state government to reduce regulatory burdens on business to foster economic growth. So, what to be reduced? So, regulatory burdens on the business. So, that will facilitate economic growth. The survey suggests several steps to address inequality, improve the health of the young population, bridge the education employment gap, and reboot India's skilling initiative to better align with the industry needs. Private sector's role. Corporates benefit from increased demand driven by employment and income growth. The survey warns against short-term thinking that could weaken economic linkages. The survey notes that reforms such as the goods and service tax and the insolvency and bankruptcy code are maturing and yielding results. It calls for next-gen reforms that are bottom-up in nature to achieve sustainable and inclusive growth. Strategy for future growth. The economic survey proposes a six-pronged strategy: boost private sector investment organically and steadily, finance the green transition, remove obstacles for micro, small, and medium enterprises, tap into agriculture's growth potential with intelligent, farmer-friendly policy launched by the government. Enhance state capacity, foster consensus among the government, business, and the social sectors. Investment challenges. While improved balance sheet are expected to drive private sector investment, concern over cheaper imports from the country with excess capacity such as China remain a continuing factor. Attracting foreign FDI will be challenging due to higher interest rate and developed countries' incentive for domestic investment. If the country capital invest in their own country, right now they are encouraging their entrepreneur to invest in their own country, so FDI flow will be not that forthcoming to India. Land and infrastructure reforms. The survey highlights the need to deregulate land use norms for factory and consolidate farmland to improve crop yield. However, it does not mention reforms to land acquisition law despite their importance for infrastructure project. The economic survey concludes that sustained growth over the next of over 7% in the medium term is achievable with continued reforms. A tripartite compact between the center, state, and the private sector is essential for maintaining this growth trajectory. So, a tripartite contract is required, three-party contract. Then the next topic is a prelim fact of Money and Finance Bill. The Chief Justice of India has agreed to list petitions before the Constitution bench that challenges the use of money bill route as a center to pass certain law and amendment. It is defined by Article 110 1A to F of the Constitution of India. It deals about the money bill. So it is dealing in the Article 110. It deals exclusively with the financial matters like taxation, government borrowing, and the consolidated fund. It includes bills like the Finance Act and the Appropriation Act during the budget. It can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha. It is certified as money bill by the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Then it can be money bill. What exactly is a money bill? A bill that deals only with the matters related to taxation, government borrowing, consolidated fund or contingency fund operations, appropriation of funds, expenditure charged on the consolidated fund, receipt or audit of accounts of the union or the state. So the incidental matter related to these six topics can also be classified as a bill as a money bill. Not only these six, but the ancillary things will also be called as a money bill. Then procedure for a money bill. Money bill is introduced by only in the Lok Sabha. It can be into the Rajya Sabha. Approval process. After passing the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha has 14 days to make recommendations. The Lok Sabha may accept or reject the recommendation made by the Rajya Sabha. Issue and controversy. Certification by the Speaker. The Speaker certification of a bill as a money bill has to be contended. The Aadhaar Act 2016 and the Finance Act 2017 face judicial scrutiny for their classification as money bill. In the Aadhaar case, the Supreme Court upheld the classification 4-1 with the current CJI dissenting. The Finance Act amendments were struck down in the Roger Matthew versus the South Indian Bank due to improper classification as a money bill. The need for the 7-judge bench to give an authoritative judgment on the definition of money bill. What is a money bill? Speakers should strictly adhere to the definition of money bill to uphold their spirit during the certification. That is what the provision regarding the money bill, because in the government is passing bill in the form of money bill more and more. This is the controversy has erupted. The Economic Survey 2024 highlights the on railway safety and signaling. Economic Survey 2023-24 highlighted limited progress on the railway safety initiative. Key points from the Economic Survey 2023-24 are on the railway safety and signaling. The Economic Survey 2023-24 emphasized on the slow deployment of the automated train protection system Kavacha and the upgrade of signaling system. Deployment of the Kabacha. Kabacha is an automated train protection system which is deployed on only 1455 route kilometer in the South Central Railway. This account for only 2.14% of the India's total railway network of 68,426 square kilometer and 7,349 railway stations in the country. Mechanical to electrical signaling. Out of 17 operational railway zones in India, 8 zones have transitioned from mechanical to electrical signaling. In the financial 2023, 2981 stations, 40% of the has switched to the electronic interlocking system. In 2024, an additional 443 stations made the switch, increasing the total to 46% of the station with electrical interlocking system. Electrical interlocking system is a system introduced in India 12 years ago and have been implemented at the 3,424 stations by March 2024. Automatic block signaling. The ABS is a low-cost signaling solution that has been provided on the 582 route kilometer during the 2024. As of March 31st, 2024, that automatic block signaling covers 4,431 route kilometer, comprising 6.47% of the total Indian railway network. The capital expenditure capex deployment. Capex deployment in railway has increased by 77% over the past 5 years, amounting to 2.62 lakhs crore in financial 2024. Significant investment were made in the construction of new lines, gauge conversion from narrow gauge to broad gauge, meter gauge to broad gauge, and doubling of the tracks. Then come to the question: enumerate the constitutional provisions relating to the immunity of the governor in India. How does the immunity safeguard the governor's role and what are its limitations? The governor, as a constitutional head of the state of India, play a vital role in ensuring the smooth functioning of the state government. Immunity under Article 361 of the Indian Constitution protects the governor from legal proceedings in any court during their term of office, providing them with the freedom to perform their duties without fear or judicial intervention. This immunity applies to civil and criminal cases. So, constitutional provisions related to the immunity of the governor. Article 361(1). This article states that the governor is not answerable to any court of law for the exercise and performance of the power and duty of his office. This ensures that the governor can make decisions without the threat of legal repercussions on him. For instance, exercising discretionary power during the political crisis. Article 361(2). No criminal proceeding can be provided that no criminal proceeding can be initiated or continued against the governor during their term of office. This provision safeguards the governor from legal action that could disrupt their official duties. Article 361(3). During their time in office, the governor cannot be arrested or put in jail by any court. So, these rules ensure they can perform their duty without being disrupted by legal issues. So, that is what the protection has been given to them. Article 361(4). No civil proceedings seeking relief against them for act purportedly performed in their personal capacity, whether occurring before or after assuming office, can be instituted in any court until at least 2 months after written notice has been delivered. Then judicial interpretation. Judicial phenomenon, just as in the Rameshwar Prasad case, have clarified that while the governor enjoy immunity, the action taken in bad faith can still be examined. This ensures that immunity is not absolute and can be reviewed for malafide intention. If it is used for malafide intention, it can be reviewed also. Then, for instance, misuse of power during the president's rule. Role of immunity in safeguarding the governor. Ensure independence. Governor's immunity from civil proceedings ensure their independence by protecting them from the legal intervention, allowing them to perform duty freely. This immunity also facilitates crucial for instance, dismissing a state government during political instability without immediate legal consequences, or in the apprehension that legal consequences can be turned against me in future. So, protect from frivolous litigation. Immunity prevents the governor from being targeted by frivolous lawsuits, ensuring that their time and role to that their time and efforts are not diverted for important state function. Then maintain dignity of office. Immunity upholds the dignity and response of the governor's office by shielding it from undue and scrutiny, undue legal claim and scrutiny. So this is crucial in maintaining the statute of authority of the constitutional head of the state, that's the governor of India, the governor of the state concerned. For instance, avoiding defamation case that undermine the office reputation. Ensure continuity in governance. Immunity prevents any abrupt disruption in governance by protecting the governor from immediate legal proceeding. This ensures smooth continuation of the administration function of the state. Limitation of immunity, potential for misuse. The boost, the broad scope of immunity can lead to misuse of power, as governor might engage in acts that are illegally questionable without immediate representation. That is what this is limitation on the immunity of the governor. For instance, arbitrary dismissal of state government, lack of accountability. Immunity can lead to a lack of accountability, as governor may not be held responsible for their action while in office. This could result in decisions that are not in the best interest of the state. For instance, that partisan action favoring large political parties. So, delayed justice. Victim of alleged misconduct by the governor may face delay in seeking justice due to immunity provisions. This can lead to prolonged suffering and lack of resources. Inconsistent judicial review. While immunity is intended to protect the governor, the lack of clear guideline on judicial review can result in inconsistent interpretations and application of the law. For instance, varied judicial ruling on what constitutes a malafide action conflict with fundamental rights. Immunity may sometimes conflict with the fundamental rights of individual, as action by the governor that violate those rights may go unchallenged during the tenure. For instance, denying legal recognition to those affected by the governor's action. The constitutional immunity granted to governor in India is designed to protect the dignity and independence of the office, allowing them to perform their duty without fear and legal repercussion. However, recent controversies and legal challenges highlight the need for a balanced approach that ensure accountability and justice while safeguarding the governor's role. Because he is the constitutional head of the state, and but he should not misuse his power. And in case something took place, so it should not get a very high profile issues. Okay, so those in the Supreme Court aims to redefine and refine this immunity to better align with democratic principle and the rule of the law. So, consider the following statement: gig workers are classified as part-time workers in the economy. No, not part-time. Okay, Code on Social Security 2020, the only contract legal that makes a reference to the gig workers in India. So only two is correct. So consider the following pairs, that Nipah virus infection, influenza virus, primary amoebic meningitis, it is the Nalgenia flori, swine H1N1 flu, influenza A virus subtype H5 and N5 and H7. Here only two is correct. With reference to the economic survey 23-24, how many of the following statements are correct? India has a significant gap in the education system. That's right. There has been a decline in the central expenditure on education. Wrong. Mental morbidity is highest in rural area compared to the urban area. Only two are correct, 1 and 3. That Karnali hydro projects is in Nepal. With reference to the neutrino, consider the following statement. They are teeny particles that do not have an electric charge, right? They are massless. Their spin direction is opposite to their motion. They are the most abundant particle in the universe. They rarely interact with the with the matter. Here only three are correct. Last is incorrect. So with reference to the economic survey, consider the following statement: health expenditure has been seen a decline from the central government. So that's incorrect. India has become the world's largest army importer. No. There has been an improvement in the female labor force participation rate. So this is correct. Only 3 is correct. Okay. Which one of the following best describe the term heat stress? Heat stress is defined by it is the condition caused by the body inability to cool down due to prolonged exposure to high temperature, humidity, and physical exertion. This is the right answer. So then consider the following statement: a money bill can only be introduced in the Lok Sabha. That's right. The money bill needs only the approval of the Lok Sabha to become law. No. The classification of money bill as money bill by the speaker comes under the judicial review. So financial power of the category 1, category 2 do not enjoy the special protection of the money bill. So here 3 are correct. Consider the following statement about the CoWIN platform. It was developed by the Indian Institute of Science. Allow users to register for vaccination and download vaccine certification. So only 2 is correct. That means 1 is correct here. Then which of the following is a common habit of the for the muscles? So muscles, deserts, forest, freshwater and marine environment, mountains. It is the freshwater and the marine environment are more suitable for this. Thank you for watching. Keep watching the Get About It Yourself on a daily basis.